Mic check, waifu, waifu.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. King, Teliano. Is that you?
In December, we here.
This is episode, I'm not ready for the episode number
279.
I think 279 was last week, wasn't it?
No, it was 278 last week, right?
I don't even know, Tel.
It was 278 last week, brother.
Yo, 279. This is episode 279 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access of the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast. The after story is where you can get access to the pre-show. We just knocked out a 20-minute version of the pre-show, which was, I think, phenomenal. At one point, I kind of forgot we was recording the after story. I mean, the pre-show and thought it was an after story. Yeah, it almost turned into an after story. It was a great episode of the pre-show, so make sure y'all check that out. It's where you can get, I said all that. It's where you can get shouted out, like our Patreon producers. Shout out to Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, Fear, Glaze Yams, Claire the Pro from Chaotic Culture, Explicitly, All for One, Matt, Mazer, Altor, Monique Williams, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. All right. This episode is a very special episode because Tel's bringing us a topic that I think is going to stand the test of time because it's a good one. It's actually a really good one because when I think about the topic we're talking about today, I think about the situation I'm in right now. And it made me think. I'm going to wait to get to that point, but before I do, Tel, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm good, brother. This has been one of the most relaxing weeks I've had in a solid minute. Also, one of the most work-filled weeks. And hear me out.
You started coding, right?
How could it be both? Yes. And that's why it's the most relaxing, because I have done no work other than coding this week, and it's been a daily thing. So I feel like I'm in my element. It's not necessarily hard yet, but there's a bunch of these like little challenges that the professor gives us where make a trivia game, and it's all through the console app. So you make this basic application, and I'm doing little goofy stuff like making D&D references. I saw this one assignment that I had to do. All I did was, because you when you make a console app, it starts off with Hello World. That's just the generic base off what it starts off with. I did something like, hello, is this thing on? Who are you? And that's what the app says to you. Type in your name. It's, oh, okay, what's up, Teliano? How you doing? How old are you again? It's 30. Man, you 32? Man, congratulations on being 32. And I was 32. The Underdark was just like beginning. And it's like, making little D&D references and stuff like that. And I sent it to the professor. I'm like, I know the professor's going to love this because he was literally talking about D&D. And I see in his video, he got D&D stuff in the background. I'm like, this is going to be great because it's like, it feels so like relatable, but I'm also hitting all the content I'm supposed to hit. And also basically turning the little console into a calculator too. It's all kind of little wild things we do. And just, it's funny how quick some of these things become habit just from doing them. So I'm so used to pressing semicolon now to like end my sentence in coding. And it's beautiful. It's just like, that's going to be me all the time. Semicolon, boom, end it. Semicolon, boom, end it. So it's wonderful how quick this can become a habit. And I'm hoping that it just stays that blissful, so to speak.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Very fulfilled week too. I was just telling and my wife and actually my mama too that I plan on buying this. We're about to get this racing rig that I'm gonna set up for my streaming. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be sweet. So I'm gonna set up my camera. It's gonna be a camera in the front of me to aimed at me, and of course, it's gonna be a camera in the back of me to get me on steering and doing the pedals and stuff. So I'm about to do it big. I'm about to do it real big for the streaming come back.
It's about to be crazy.
It's about to be nice. It's about to be nice. But other than that, I'm real good. I'm just excited about that. So yeah. We are going to find time again. Apologies for the after story. We keep promising episodes, but it was Thanksgiving this week when we normally record on Thursday. So forgive us, but we got to do it because we got a lot to talk about apparently, according to this pre-show episode. Again, if you support us on Patreon at any tier, you get access to everything. So make sure you check out that pre-show. So it's a good one. And leave a comment because we always read the comments on the next pre-show from the previous pre-show. But make sure you join our Discord as well, because that's where all the conversation comes from. And then Blue Sky as well. Mic check waifu.bluesky.social is where we are going to be moving our conversation as well. Anyway, let's get into this anime tale. Episode of the week. W.
Semi easy choice, not really easy choice because there was another really good option. Reincarnated as an aristocrat.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, but I would say that for SamaSho.
Exactly. That was my other option.
Yeah, I think SamaSho is an incredible show. This episode was so good. And I said this in our Discord, but this might be one of the best one and dones ever. Because there's no way it's gonna get another season, right?
I hope not. Actually.
Yeah, it definitely don't need it. But when I think about one and dones, obviously the best one and done is probably Summertime Rendering, but I think this could be one of the best one and dones as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's on the same level as Summertime Rendering, because obviously Summertime Rendering is a 10 out of 10, but SamaSho is right there when it comes to like just a good sit down and watch show that is surprisingly just heartfelt and sad and fun and all of it. It's all of it.
And saying that though, because I agree with you, I do think that it could be the best one and done just for story elements. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the story elements there could be so good that it does supersede what we believe Summertime Rendering is. Even though Summertime Rendering is amazing, I think objectively Summertime Rendering is amazing. But so far for what we're getting from SamaSho, which it had to grow on me a bit, I think that the story is something crazy, man. It's something beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites for sure. Not of all time, obviously, but like one and done's. Up there with Astro Lost in Space as well. Another one I absolutely love. But anyway, talk to me. Topic of the show.
Oh, okay. We're gonna jump right into it.
Unless you got somewhere to go before that, because I kind of do.
Okay, well, just before we get there, because I do want to talk about that. I know you're not watching it, so this is why I want to talk about it. Dragon Ball Daima.
Okay, yeah, get it out the way,
brother. This is like, and I know this is wild. This is my favorite Dragon Ball so far. This is so good in comparison to every other Dragon Ball. And it's not like the story elements. Because like I said, the story ain't crazy. But they're giving us plot, right? They're building up plot. They're actually making it seem like the story elements can be there. Like the villain isn't the villain you're thinking it is. And that there's a different build up to it. Which actually seems like it could be really good. But then you have where everybody came to Dragon Ball 4. The hands, what's being thrown, the fighting. Brother. Easily some of the best animated fighting I feel like I've ever seen for Dragon Ball. And I mean like the motion in it, the way the camera tilts and pans with Goku's movements and the giant Sugetsu monster that he's fighting. It's like everything in it. It felt way more impactful than Dragon Ball Super. And I know people love seeing some Dragon Ball Super. They're like gonna hype it up. Nah, bro. I think Dragon Ball Daima's animation, it looks like it looks like they spent all the time in the world on it, and it's Dragon Ball, so they have the budget for it. But bro, when I tell you, visually, it's one of the most impressive this season. But not just because of the high resolution context of it. The actual capturing of it, the actual motion of it is great. And very enjoyable. And I see why this is currently getting a little bit of praise that I've been seeing on like TikTok and other socials like Blue Sky. I think it deserves it, but I have to still wait and temper my expectations for the storyline, because it seems like it's developing. It's just not. They're not leading with this with the parts that seem the most interesting yet. That's just in the background.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're watching it, so you can have that dialogue here on the podcast. Because if it wasn't for you watching it, it wouldn't be discussed ever. And that's kind of where I want to go, like, because I feel like we're so far on the spectrum of shit that's not that normally, that we kind of need that, right? Like, we kind of need that kind of representation of, I don't know what to call it, exceedingly
entry level anime,
mainstream takes. You know what I mean? Like, because we just don't have it. We don't have it at all. We talk about all kinds of obscure shit that don't nobody really give a fuck about, which is interesting to me, because I'm like, I think to myself, I'm like, why do, this is gonna sound crazy to say on our podcast, but why do people listen to us if we never talk about like the DanDaDans and well, we do, but not in the same like the same way that most people would,
that everyone wants to.
Yeah. I just like, who's the best here and what's the best there, and the top 5 this and the top 10 that. I mean, we do that, but in the context of our structure, the way we do the show. But it's just like Dragon Ball Daima, like we're not gonna give you that. Well, thank goodness Tell is bringing it, because I'm down for sure would never. I just don't care.
That's the only reason I'm even bringing it, is because like at first I wasn't planning on ever talking about it, right?
No, I need you
talking about it. But it's one of those things that, like I said, Dragon Ball is an entry level anime, just like DanDaDan is an entry level anime. You could have never watched anime before, and DanDaDan could be your first one. You'd be like, okay, I might watch anime after this, right? Mm-hmm. Dragon Ball is like that, and it's one of those things I just put out on Blue Sky that I was talking about. Someone needs to discuss the pipeline from kung fu to anime. You know what I mean? Like, why do people from, you know, sometimes the projects or ghettos or wherever you might start off watching kung fu and then get into anime, or you might watch anime and get into kung fu. It's one of those things where there's an entry point, and that's what I think like Dragon Ball Daima is, or Dragon Ball in general, and that's what we don't really talk about, and that comes with our experience. Like, you know, when you got 1,000 anime under your belt, you kind of don't want to talk about the entry level stuff anymore. You want to talk about what's really getting into like some of those more nitty gritty aspects that we really enjoy, and that's what we're here for. But we do that. That's kind of why I am watching Dragon Ball Daima, because we need, like you said, a little bit of that entry level discussion.
But see, the problem with that though, right? That entry level discussion is that you could talk about it, and you do so eloquently as you did. But I'm not gonna have anything to say. I like it because for me, shows like that, I can't care about. You know, I just can't. It doesn't. I don't know how to say it without sounding condescending.
But I call cap, and I'm gonna tell you why I call cap. What are we watching? You watching Blue Box, right?
No, you're talking about something completely not relevant to what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is
talking about like strictly like the action based anime, because I'm saying like some of the slice of life can be considered entry level now.
Sure.
Most people aren't there. A lot of people aren't there yet.
But that's not what nobody's talking about Blue Box. Nobody's talking about anything that we talk about on this podcast. Everybody's talking about either Daima or DanDaDan. That's literally it. So like what I'm saying is like, for you to bring it up, it should be a dialogue, because this is a podcast, conversational podcast. But I just don't have anything to say about Daima, because I couldn't give two fucks about
Hey,
how good the animation is in Dragon Ball. I just don't care. Like it's just and for me, I don't. It doesn't. It feels wrong. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel.
it's not.
I don't know.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
I feel like I should care.
Well, so the only reason I would say, I think if you watched it, you could watch. You don't even have to watch it. You don't have to watch it. Mm-hmm. You could watch clips. Watch a couple clips and be like, oh, I can appreciate the level that the animation has gone to, because this animation is clearly 3D CGI rendered, but it is some of the best, smoothest, like how good Demon Slayer looks. But on a cell shaded basis, it looks, in my opinion, I would say in some scenarios better. But Demon Slayer might have a more exuberant explanation for some things, like in some movements because of the flames and art style or whatever, right? But when you get past that, there's not a lot of breakdown that we would normally go through. So Dragon Ball Daima is not giving us or providing us with enough content that we would enjoy breaking down. So yeah, it's not gonna get talked about here.
Yeah, you know what it is? Because when you talked about the animation and how good the CGI look, that just don't matter, I think, to me. You know what I mean? Yes, I love Demon Slayer because it looks good, but I love Demon Slayer as well because there's a throughput for a story that I can follow and have a conversation about in detail. Dragon Ball is never ever going to have that, ever. It doesn't matter what fucking arc they're in. It's never going to be a story. It's going to be a tournament. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be some world devastating enemy, and that's it. It's never going to have like a throughput, like, you know, a training, like, well, of course it has a zillion training arcs, but you know what I mean? a throughput that even as simple as Demon Slayer is, something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's where I would even say, because of the age of Dragon Ball, it excels at the movies, because the movies have to have a linearity to them.
The movies, the movies definitely do it right.
It's right there. As soon as the movie's on, the direction is already headed. Mm-hmm. This, while I know what the direction is, we know where it's going, all that kind of stuff. With Dragon Ball Daima, it does feel like it's still a bit all over the place, even though we know exactly what the purpose is. We know exactly where we're going. We know exactly what's supposed to happen, but it does still feel a little jumbled, so to speak. Like it's heading in that direction, just not exactly. But it's still good, and I think that, like I said, entry level anime, I think it checks a lot of boxes for people that I would say, if you don't want something too serious, you just want to turn on something and watch it in the background, turn on Dragon Ball Daima. Even if you've never watched Dragon Ball before, it seems like it actually could just be relatively solid. Yeah.
So to transition to another one that everybody's talking about, just so we can have this in the algorithms, I guess. DanDaDan this week. So apparently, according to our guy TCB, who was a part of this community for a very long time and who's always contributing in the Discord, our guy, he said that there's a lot of drama about DanDaDan this week's episode about the kids being naked.
Yep.
Which on Twitter, which I'm glad he's there because we're not. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's stupid. It's dumb. Like, they shouldn't have been naked, period, these kids, because it doesn't add anything to the show. But like, for y'all to go all outrageously pitchforky is crazy.
Yeah, and so I understand it. You know what I mean? Now, the thing is, though, is that in my head, I'm like, at least they're all children. And they were covering themselves. Mm-hmm. If anything, it's the aliens that should be looked at as weird and anything like that.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird.
Yeah, so I get it. Like, the concept is weird in itself. But this also, like, just to take it a step further, this isn't the first time this happened, and this is barely the second time. So if you've gotten this far in this anime and now it's starting to make you feel uncomfortable, it almost makes me wonder, like,
if it's just for...
Yeah, like, is it because someone else said something?
Probably.
Did it go? What was the part that was too far? And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be outraged or upset. If you feel outraged or upset about it, then say la vie, that's you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that we made it this far into the show, and arguably, I believe this is the third time that this specific kind of scenario has happened, where it's gone this far. and it's kind of like, this is where you kind of step. The whole every episode has something to do with genitals.
So
you know what I mean?
And that's every the part episode. I hate about the show. I can't.
So it's like, if it's already talked about on a week-to-week basis, you ain't said nothing about the genitals in last week's episode. You ain't said nothing about the genitals in the previous episode about dancing granny swallowing his golden testicles. Y'all ain't said nothing about that. And
you just reminded me, Wiley. Like, because the problem is I enjoy the show, but it's like those pieces of it I hate. I enjoy the show for when it gets pseudo real, right? When it gets to those moments that it got 2 weeks ago in episodes 7, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. I love it when it talks about the turbo granny, and then even when they had like the very first miscommunication, which I believe was like episode 5 or something like that, which I thought was cute. It was adorable. But everything else is just, it's becoming so like, I don't know how. I just don't know what it is about it.
Everything. I was gonna say everything they said about Fire Force, the complaints they had about Fire Force.
God, yes.
This is that times 1,000.
Yes.
But it's way more like
disjointed. I
don't understand. It's less enjoyable in my opinion. And I hate to say it because it's not. There are parts of this that are obviously enjoyable, but the you're adding in this conjunction of this raunchiness with children
that don't even belong. Not necessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. And it's like, who is that targeted to? Is that targeted towards children to make children laugh, or is that targeted towards the adults that are watching this with children? I'm confused. So I feel like if you made it this far into DanDaDan and that's the part you're complaining about, you probably should have already stopped watching this.
Yeah.
Not to say that you shouldn't complain, you know what I mean? Like I said before, but you're a little too far deep in now, because you should have been complaining in the first episode. Like episode 1
was crazy.
Was wild.
It was so crazy.
And then episode 2, 3, 4 had similar wildness, just a little bit toned down. And episode 5 was wild. And then episode 6, and you know what I mean? Like they only tone it down a bit, and then it gets right back to it. And like I said, every episode has had something to do with testicles or a lower body part. So
why is that?
What it and here's what it is. I hate to say this, and I feel like I don't know. This might have to get edited out, but I hate to say it, but it might be because the guy being exposed is relatively normal.
Sure.
That's relatively normal. But him being exposed on top of a young girl, I understand.
That's probably
a lot differently.
That's probably what's being complained about then.
Because that I can understand. That is a part that maybe visually like that is a bit much. But I was already uncomfortable with it to begin with. You know what I mean? It's like it's not breaking any headlines with me for that.
Yeah. It never felt necessary in the show to begin with. And then the whole literally this throughput is somebody losing their genitals and trying to get their genitals back. That's what this entire show is about. And if that don't make you roll your eyes in the first place, I'm not, then this is for you. It's not for me.
Yeah, you should not be taking it serious to begin with.
Exactly. It shouldn't be taken serious whatsoever. So because I am able to extract that and not take it as serious, I enjoy it. I just don't think it's this great ass anime that everybody's saying, and it makes me think that maybe my taste is skewed. Maybe I'm the one with piss poor taste.
Your taste is not skewed, brother.
To be on this outside, just like not really interested in talking about it. And we have a fucking anime podcast, and we just don't. DanDaDan do get talked about because guess what? It was the Discord episode of the week this week again.
Facts.
So it gets talked about here, but I just don't, I just don't get it. I don't see it. I just want to know what other people's tastes there are, because I spend all of my time talking to Tell. So, so with that being said, I just want to know what's everybody taste when it comes to anime. So if this is a question we can put it in the Discord or wherever, just like what do you want to get out of your anime when you watch it?
Well, when it comes to DanDaDan, they love the characters and their development. just not the nakedness and the genitals and stuff like that.
So they're
that
developing.
That seemed to be a core element of the show, though.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Even though I don't see.
I don't understand. Yeah, it's just remember the raunchiness is a core element of this show.
Yeah.
Now to kind of build on that though, you want to go to the topic?
Yes, do it.
So my topic is more or less about second chances.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of anime that we dropped in the beginning of the season.
Absolutely.
And Polo and I were talking about this during the pre-show about how this season is kind of trash-tastic.
Yeah.
But I went back and watched a trash-tastic anime, and I'm going to finish it. But I'm going to give you my opinion on what I've watched so far.
Okay.
I went back and watched about 4 episodes of Trillion Game, 3 or 4.
I just got a disgust chill. That made me shiver a little bit.
Hear me out, brother.
I don't think I want to.
Hear me out. So I went back with the hopes that maybe in a few episodes it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the characters change. Maybe we see the characters' true colors. I don't hate one of these characters. I hate every fucking thing else. Oh my God. Man, hear me out, bro.
It has trash written all over it, though.
It is top tier garbage. And when I tell you that I genuinely went in, I'm thinking like I'm gonna give it a chance. I knew what character I hated. This Haru Tenoji dude, I hate him. He never has a plan. His plan is just I'm gonna fake it till I make it in every scenario, and then it works out. If Plot Armor was a character, it's Haru Tenoji, and I hate it because why is it working for him? And then it turns out that Manabu, who's the smart character, he enters something like a hacking tournament where they have to figure out all these different coding things and hacking and stuff like that. I'm like, this dude is getting motivated. I'm like, I think I like Manabu. I like this character. And then Haru's in the background, not doing shit. Not doing nothing, bro. He's just there to be pretty and fake it till you make it. I watched this episode and he's trying to get money from everybody, right? He's trying to get startup money for their business. He's talking to a bunch of people. He talks to like some gang members, some Yakuza people. And one dude is like super interested in putting in. He's like, I need 100 million. And dude's like, 100 million? Brother, you leave. And he leaves and he's not donating. Then he goes and talks to Kiraka Kokuryu, who is the head of the Dragon Bank or whatever, right? Just hear me out, brother.
It's getting way too much airtime already.
And just hear me out, because I'm about to tell you how ridiculous this show is, man. And I watched this. I was so upset. He goes in, and they meet her while she's working out with her personal trainer. And the trainer is like, he's like, well, he says to the trainer, anybody's welcome to work out here, right? Yeah. So he load up 2 45-pound plates on the bar on each side. So, 225 to bench press. Boom. He getting ready to do it, and the trainer put on 2 more plates on each side. So I'm like, okay, that's a little light hop from 500 pounds. You about to be bench pressing a little zebra here. You know what I mean? Like a baby cow. You know what I mean? This is about to be some weight you about to bench.
Okay.
Just hear me out. He lifts it off the bar. I'm like, this man lifted 500 pounds off a bar. That's crazy. I don't believe it. Why he leave? How did he sneak in 2 fake 45-pound plates that pop as soon as the trainer touch them? How did he sneak them into the gym?
I don't even understand why we even.
Bro, I hate this show. And here's the
why we
thing.
Even give that a second chance?
Hear me out. I gave it a second chance. And there's other things that I wanted to give a second chance. I really wanted this to be good because it was so different. It was so obtuse. It was so unique, and so to speak. You know what I mean? Brother, the idea that I had was about giving second chances. That was the whole point of me watching this, because I wanted to bring this as a topic. especially since ReZero was no longer here with us this week. And I was thinking, should we give shows second chances? And I'm gonna tell you,
I can't believe you just gave that 5 minutes.
My opinion is so skewed after this because there was things I wanted to give a second chance, and now I feel like.
So let's turn this topic on this head. Is there anything you gave a second chance to that you glad you did? So, for example, me, Ari Frietta, you know how much I hated that show at the beginning. I did not like that show whatsoever. And it's on season 3 right now, and I started the first 2 episodes of it. And I'm enjoying it just as much as I did.
And I told you that it was good. I told you it was good at the season, yeah.
Yeah, so stuff that we gave a second chance to that we're glad we did.
So Ari Frietta is one of them, and I'll say that specifically because I picked it back up for you.
I'm glad you did. It's really good.
I watched, I think, like the first 4 episodes of this season. I kind of paused after that, just because there was a lot of other things I wanted to watch. But at no point did I feel like it was bad. Yeah, I think there's things with better animation or anything like that.
Of course,
but Ari Frietta, to me, was never known for its spectacular animation. But I do think that the position that they are in now, the characters are significantly better. And I do enjoy these characters in comparison to like season 1. So I must say, yes, Ari Frietta is a show that I would say I'm very happy that I gave it a second chance.
It took about 5 episodes for the characters to grow on me, like in season 1. And that's a show that I'm like, okay, this was a better like binge watch. And that's what I'm hoping for when I go ahead and give, what's that fucking show? I just know it's going to be shitty anyway. That some people still enjoy in our community.
Go ahead, what is it?
Shangri-La Frontier.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen when this get all said and done. But I'm not watching it until the 25 is complete. I don't give a fuck about not having a conversation about Shangri-La Frontier. I need to know if it's just the pacing issue is just trying to watch that shit week to week, because you're only going to get a 12-minute episode because of their SLF theater or whatever the fuck it is. And it's just no point. You might as well just wait till it's done and then binge 25. Maybe it'll be a better experience.
I'm going to say this. I stopped Shangri-La Frontier 3 episodes into this season. I found nothing enjoyable about it. And I hate to say that because like
it's still the character thing, isn't it? The characters
it just got nowhere. The world got nowhere. Like what were we doing for 3 episodes? There was no real character building. Yeah, there was like some introductions and stuff like that. Like there was some minor stuff. Slight world building. Nothing that was like detrimental for this to be a season 2. It felt very dragged. You know what I mean? Like they're stretching it. Nah, bro. I am not enjoying Shangri-La Frontier season 2. So I stopped. I'm gonna finish it, but I stopped 3 episodes in because it was too much. It was too boring.
I think it's the product of the dollar, man. I think it's that dollar, because I think this is one that got approved and they figured it was going to be popular. You think of it like and I'm gonna put it in video game terms. Think about it like if it's a Ubisoft game, like what they did with Assassin's Creed. You remember when you got Assassin's Creed and we was over your house and we was playing it for fucking hours, thinking this shit was so spectacular. And then it was definitely. And then they made 1, and then they made 2, and then they made 3, and it was a yearly thing when Assassin's Creed games was coming out, and they completely diluted it. I think they figured that this one would be popular enough. This one could have been like the next My Hero, or the typical the JJKs, the shit like that, or Sword Art if you want to get a little bit more similar. They thought it was going to be something like that, so they decided to drag it to 25 episodes for the dollar. And I don't think it's worthy of that. I think if it was 12, it probably would have smacked better, because they would have been forced to truncate the dragging that they're doing right now that you described, because they did that dragging in season 1. So for me to compare season 1 to season 2, it sounds like it's very similar. So I think it probably would be better if that was the case, because they wouldn't have that SLF theater and it would be able to progress faster. But I think it's the product of the dollar, man, and it's sad.
It's sad. The thing is, though, is that exactly what you said. It is a product of that dollar, but it sucks because it just had so much of a chance. And you talk about second chances. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm happy I didn't give a second chance.
Talk to me.
Blue Lock season 2.
Yeah.
After hearing what I've heard about it, about the still shots and stuff like that,
and it just died after those first few episodes.
The slideshow anime is crazy, bro.
Yeah, it just fell apart after that.
I'm happy I did not do that, bro.
It's giving us opportunities to watch other stuff, man. Like I was kind of in the mood to turn on another show that I gave a second chance to a long time ago. Funny enough, because it's crazy that I never said this on the show, but Log Horizon was a show I dropped at first. I picked up Log Horizon years ago because it was when I was in my Isekai bag before the podcast even started. And I'm like, you know what? This is okay. This isn't SAO. So I turned it off and didn't go back after 3 episodes. And then all of a sudden I was bored and didn't have anything to watch. I went back to it, watched the first 3 again, went to 4 and then 5. And I think it was episode 5. It was basically the turning point of that episode of that series. I'm sorry. And I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. And it became one of my favorite isekais ever. Like Log Horizon is so great to the point where but the problem is I can never finish season 3 for some reason. I don't know why. I get to the end of season 2 and I start season 3 and I just never continue it. I always forget to or something. I don't know what it is, but that's when I wanted to go back to and start all over and rewatch again. And then to come back to this season, I'm gonna tell y'all now. I broke the rules of our own podcast with sleepers, and because we said with our sleepers we always watch the sleepers no matter what. I can't go back to Yakuza Fiance, and I refuse. I just don't want to. I don't want to.
I mean, if you ain't watching, I ain't watching it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm dropping it. Then I'm just going ahead and drop it.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that too.
Make it official.
I can't do it. It's not even. And I hear some crazy stuff happening, I guess, with the main girl character, which is the best character in the entire show. But I just don't care no more. And if you can't hold me, I'm not gonna hold you. That's simple. But yeah, I'm really happy with your sleeper. I'm having fun with that. Keeping that.
Oddly enough, and hear me out with Demon Lord 2099. Why am I enjoying it more when it's not necessarily action based?
So much so.
Like I'm not too mad at the action, but like when we had the whole little, and obviously it's go into the review when we get there eventually. When we had the whole little Demon Lord thing, I was like, that was anticlimactic.
It was, but I liked it though.
I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying it was a little anticlimactic for us to have as much as we got left and then go right to this. I was like, okay.
It went into another arc. I think it went into another arc rather cleanly, to be honest. Because I'm like, what they did was they didn't waste our time. And I appreciated that because I thought he was going to be the big bad to the end.
Well, that's what I was thinking. But so what I'm saying is that while I agree that the transition was super smooth and quick, I just was like, okay, we're going to move on from him that quickly.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
But yeah, bro, I think this show, Demon Lord 299, oddly is just better when it's not action.
Yeah, I mean, I would call it the same, whether action or not, because I still think what it does within its action is still move the story forward, and that I can appreciate because some shows don't or won't. Another show that I talked about at the beginning of where I was just so mad on it was tying it out with the Amagami sisters. This is quickly becoming very underrated in my opinion. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. And listen to me at the beginning of this season's discussions. I was like, yeah, it's just the same as everything else. I like it better than Cafe Terrace and the Goddess. I do. And Cafe Terrace and the Goddess got two seasons.
I'm the slice of life guru around here.
Stop it.
It's me. That's my bag now.
Stop it.
That's my bag. You hear me? Hey, y'all hear me out there?
25.
Mike check waifu waves. That's my bag.
25 episodes deep, but or 24. Sorry. What I'm noticing though is all the stuff that we're talking about, they're not getting scored high on any list. Demon Lord 2099 is getting a 70, which is probably the highest one of the ones we're talking about. But everything else, 60s, 66.
Maybe they need to give them second chances.
Yeah, definitely. So why don't y'all give us some stuff y'all gave second chances to inside of the episode thread in the Discord? We would appreciate it. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to spoil. I think we should bring back Bleach Talk this week.
Okay.
We don't have ReZero, unfortunately.
Sadly.
Which is hard because now we have to come up with 2 other shows to negate that with. But Bleach Talk is back. We'll go with anything else that piques your interest, though.
I mean, the only thing could be is our sleeper choices, or not sleeper choices, our episode of the week choices. But
yeah, we could do that.
I think I'm just gonna watch this season of Blue Exorcist so I can bring that to talk about.
Blue Exorcist, that's random.
You gotta have the entry level anime, bro.
I totally forgot too that I picked back up Goblin Slayer 2 because I never finished that. That was another one. I'm on episode 8 out of 12 now. I'm gonna finish that soon, but I digress. Yeah, let's do
Reincarnated Aristocrat and Bleach.
Bleach Talk, Reincarnated Aristocrat. Okay, clean. We'll be right back after. No, we got to get to know Mike Check Waifu. What am I doing? It's my turn to roll the random number generator. It's your turn to read the question. I think. If not, oh well. That's what it's gonna be now.
Let's do it that way.
53.
It's 53. So the big 5-3 is, what is the longest anime series you have completed?
It's a great question. I mean, it would have to be Naruto, right? No, because how many episodes is Naruto? Naruto.
Hey Google. Let me see how many episodes is Naruto.
So Naruto original series. God, I cannot believe that was 2002. It doesn't just say the episode total, does it? Oh yeah, it does. 220, and then Shippuden, which is I finished
500.
So 700.
720.
So if that's the case, then technically One Piece. Well, I guess it's not finished. So it has to be.
So completed has to be Naruto.
It has to be Naruto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic series. Shout out to our girl Crystal. She's like, I'm never going to watch Naruto. She said she said she picked one of the big 3 and stuck with it out of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, obviously, and she picked One Piece. I'm like, damn. Wow, I love One Piece. I wish somebody like Crystal would have watched Naruto.
To also be fair, the longest manga series I've ever completed is also Naruto. But I've read more chapters of One Piece.
Interesting. All right. We'll be right back after this.
Hoje aqui no baile o bonde veio assim, taradão e bolado pra tacar o piru aí. Vou te pegar vodka, papo, explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou te pegar vodka, papo, explodir teu negócio tudinho.
Desce, sobe, no baile, desce, sobe, no baile do Elipa, desce, sobe, no baile, desce, sobe, no baile.
Você quer pra mim, você quer pra mim. Você quer Paga pra mim.
Hoje aqui no baile o bonde veio assim, taradão e bolado pra tacar o piru aí. Vou te pegar vodka pra tu explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou te pegar vodka pra tu explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho.
And welcome back to episode 279 of Mic Check Waifu. We are going to spoil Bleach, TsumaSho, and
Reincarnated Aristocrat.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Bleach talk. I used to play the Precipice of Defeat when we talked about Bleach talk back in the day, when we did the rewatch of it. And when I did that, we got restricted in certain countries for the video version. Which made me so sad because that was so much fun. It's just, I used to go back and listen to the Bleach talk just for that part, because Precipice of Defeat or Death, Precipice of Death. Sometimes they call it Death, sometimes they call it Defeat, depending on where you look it up. But it was just so fire to hear that playing in the background when we talked about it. It was anyway, I digress. Yeah, this
You know what didn't make me sad?
What?
Captain's Bunkai.
Oh my goodness! I'm impressed. When did they get their third Bankai evolutions?
They've been working hard, brother.
They have. It's just, I'm like, damn, when did they get these evolutions?
They was tired of Ichigo being only
growth
top tier threat.
Because you think about it, like, we've seen all their Bankais before, so why because we even during our long form rewatch of Bleach, we even watched the fillers of what was it, the Zanpakuto arc when they all came alive and shit.
I think Kenpachi's the only one we haven't seen everything from for real.
Yep, I think you're right. Which Kenpachi got smoked a couple episodes ago. But
yeah, we know he's not dead, but him getting hit like that is crazy. But I do think so. I loved the representation of the Bankai in this episode.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful, and I see that, and it might be a theme of how they're doing some of the Bankai specifically, but they're having them play out almost in like this cinematic or theatrical sense.
Well, he is literally, but
there have been others that have like these similar theatrical aspects of them, which is really cool. His act 1, act 2, act 3, final act was crazy. How'd you feel watching that, bro?
It was sweet. It was, I just kept thinking about, like, where they get these evolutions from? But even though what I like was, two things when I don't like and what I do like. What I don't like is, and I said this on Blue Sky, I'm like, why do they feel the need to talk about what everything they do does to their enemies?
They explained it.
It's not just because of his explanation of the whole, children's game. They have to know the rules bullshit. They do that all the time with every single Bankai, no matter the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you explain the weaknesses of yourself basically to all your enemies, no matter what?
They explained it. They said that. So what they explained, and this is like in earlier seasons of Bleach, they explained that when you tell people what your ability is, it makes it more potent.
I don't ever remember hearing them say that, but it's stupid.
So I agree. I think it's stupid, but they always do it. That's how they explained it, is that it makes their ability stronger to be able to tell people what it is.
Okay, you know.
Hey, I don't make the rules, but if fact check me or not, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I'm gonna have to look that up, yeah, because I don't. It don't make sense for that to be the case, but it would make sense why they do that. But I don't. I think it's dumb. Maybe the archivist can look that up and let us know. But it's dumb. But then what I do like is that when they do it, it's such an event, right? When a Bankai gets dropped or a what they call that, there's the it's like something close to like Nazi Germany name of it, what the Quincy's does. But when they do it, it's an event and it's so fucking special. Like when Jinzo did his fucking, or what's his name? Jiro. When he mentioned the fact that you got to understand, I'm the head captain now. I'm the captain now. So when he does his fucking thing, you realize like, oh shit, he's the head captain of all of the Soul Reapers now. So he got some shit on him.
He got it on him.
Yeah, and it was just so impressive to see, man. I Bleach is just my favorite when it comes to this fighting shit, and you can't deny it. It's just great.
So really quick, I just had to look it up. It's part of the lore in Bleach. It's established that knowing the name of an attack can make it more powerful. This is why characters sometimes shout the name out their attack before you use it.
That's
it's also just suggested that explaining one's Bankai can make it more effective as it demonstrates a mastery of the technique.
That's the part that don't make sense. I know when they say the name is important. That was always established in the series. I just don't remember them saying like knowing the technique makes it more potent. I think that's dumb. That might be a manga thing, but anyway, still, it was great to see.
And hear me out. He's beastly, absolutely god tier. And what's crazy was that they give what's his name, Lil Barrow, the Quincy dude. Mm-hmm. They give him this power up, which I thought was pretty dope. But that's one thing. Ugly as fuck, but I think the power up itself was dope.
Yeah.
But here's what I hate, and this is what I thought you were gonna say. You hate. I hate when they power up somebody just to shoot them down.
But just for them not to be down, because he's not down. Just like how the one that's fighting the weirdo captain, like he just destroyed his Bankai. Like they Bleach is the king at dragging it. Like.
They are the king, but they make it cool.
I was about to say that. They're way better at it than One Piece. Because One Piece drag it, but they drag it in the way of such distasteful waste of time to just span multiple episodes. While this does it by killing somebody and bringing them, but they're not dead, and then bringing it back, but they're not dead, and then bringing it. It's like they do that the coolest. If that makes sense.
Oh, you're right.
People get holes blown through them, but you thought it was over, but I'm back, and then they got these other crazy ass powers. So I'm looking forward to see. Is our captain dead? The head captain, the new head captain?
I don't think so. And I say that because his Zanpakuto said you almost died. You know what I mean? Now I do think that I don't think this battle is over.
Yeah, of course. It's Bleach.
Yeah.
Sadly not. I don't think this is when I think the battle is actually over. I think all the captains is going to get into fights are going to be fighting until Ichigo take down the Soul King, the new Soul King, which is going to be annoying. But I love it when they do the 12 episode thing. What did they do last season? I think it was like 12 episodes. It was so truncated and nice and well put together. Concise. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. So concise that I got a feeling this one's going to be like 25 and it's going to take forever.
Well, they probably gonna give us a solid head to come to, though. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Anyway.
At least in these next 2 episodes, and then they'll let it continue.
True.
Like give you a stopping point. It's like if you stop right here, you can come back later and binge this next 12.
True. All right, moving on. What's next? Reincarnated
Aristocrat.
Let's do it.
I just wanted to touch on this episode. Ours is that dude,
and he don't even know it.
But what we always talk about with ours is what makes him that dude. It's his personality, bro.
He's just genuine.
He is quite literally like a breath of fresh air to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
His actions, they mean something from the beginning. And that's good writing. That's just
Absolutely.
good writing. And I think that's what makes this show so great. That I know it's so easy to overlook, but man, you talk about great writing, bro. They handle it so well from beginning to end in this show.
Absolutely. Pen and pad is top tier. It doesn't look good though. Like animation wise, you're not going to get good animation. You're not going to get great fights. What you are going to get is great character writing, great character development. And even just, you even think about
strategizing.
Yeah, you even think about some of like the antagonists in here, and they're not often shown. But when they're shown, it's like intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And you are kind of worried, but it always works out in the best way possible. Does that make sense?
And we don't necessarily know what the best way possible is until it gets here. You know what I mean?
Correct. I love getting Fam's his internal struggle.
Man, and that's what sold the episode for me. And I was like, I know Polo gonna pick TsumaSho, so I'm gonna pick this one. It to me, what a lot of it, what sold it was the fact that he was able to make someone who was a mercenary, essentially is only loyal to money, will do the job regardless of what it is, made that person comfortable enough to understand that ours isn't going to misuse their abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Ours isn't going to put them in a situation where they're doing something that they're going to hate or anything like that. And I love that. And that's what I mean by Ars's character is that he's always been good from the beginning, written well from the beginning. And even in how he met Fam, it wasn't like, I want to manipulate you. Right. It wasn't, I need you to do something dirty or shady for me. It was always well guided, well intended from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes ours so good, is that it always pays off for him in the end. It pays off in the end for him. And this one felt like the longest payoff. Right. Like it took the longest to get to this point, and it paid off so well. And I was very just appreciative of this episode, bro.
Yeah. I just appreciate how it continues to show other characters understanding who he is. It's not just him, convincing them with words. It's them being around him and him not even realizing he has this such, aura, I guess would be the best term to use, where people want to be a part of what he's building. And he doesn't even know he's building something. This man might become the king of this freaking entire Musin, whatever they call it. Right. And that's incredible. It's incredible. All right, good check.
Fam turning down money, turning down retainership with a lord that's over him. Crazy.
Yep. He's like, I'm not going to do that. And I think that's what gave him the realization of, I think I want to be his retainer, because he has a better chance of being top shit. But gut check. What do you think of this next episode, or what do you think is going to happen in this next episode? Obviously, we got the preview, right, where Ritz was fighting.
I think that this is another, and I hate to say it, I feel like this is another retainer situation.
Really?
And I don't think this is like an immediate retainer either. I think this is someone who's going to see the influence of ours. Because I'm thinking about what they have in their group already. They don't really have like a tanky person. They have two strategists, one who's well versed in combat, but she's not really like a tank. Then they got Ritz. Is that his name?
Ritz.
who is a frontline combatant, but he's not a tank. He's not going to be like your shield. I'm just saying, I think that they might need someone who is kind of like that.
I think you're looking at this wrong. You're looking at it like a video game.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I'm okay with being wrong.
Yeah. I think he's just another one of the enemy's soldiers, right? Just like how the girl mage was. She didn't join, even though she had that defensive magic ability that was able to protect that entire castle. So it's just going to be another one of those guys that they end up making submit to them. It is curious of you to say of him becoming another retainer, because it would totally make sense from not just like the tanky position side of things, but from he seems like a kid just interested in having fun. So from that perspective, it seems like he'll be interested in joining ours, because ours will bring him that quote unquote fun. So I do, from that perspective, I do see that kind of happening.
And I think they share a little too much in terms of like how immediately like he was drawn to, and we don't know exactly how much that plays out in the episode, but they made it immediately seem like he was drawn to them. And that's what makes me feel like this is going to be one of those retinal retainer issues. Like, hey, let's make him part of our group.
Yeah. I don't think they would though. I think Pen to Pad, they're top tier, and adding anybody else right now. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm just saying I don't think they would, because I just think they're great where they are right now.
Yeah,
that's my thought. All right, last but not least, TsumaSho.
Yeah, brother, they kicked me in the chest.
Man, listen, this was hard. This was tough because, for one, it don't seem like they take marriage too seriously at all. Over there, because how the hell is he gonna marry Miuryu-san like that quickly, and they haven't even dated? Like that was a little weird to me. She did confess. Like, I understand them getting together, maybe, but him getting remarried already is kind of out there.
It's been 10 years though, right?
What is that? They never dated.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that like it's been 10 years of him not being with his wife. Now, him never dating this woman, I understand. Now, I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Yeah.
But I do think that he realizes that he has to
move on.
Well, yeah.
And that's the point I'm making. Like, that, the whole him getting with somebody is different, but to be getting married
is wild. Yeah.
Is a little wild, because did time pass?
It's only been a year and I think a month.
Right. So it's kind of hard to like put that together like that.
I mean, some people get married faster than that, bro. You live in the same house for a year, you technically married in some states.
I was about to say something really exposing my own family, but I digress. I digress big time. Anyway, it's strange, but other than that, apparently she's been with Mai's been with her guy for a year, so they're getting married, and it was adorable seeing them phantom tied a knot for mom so she could see it. That killed me though.
Yeah, but that ain't what killed me. Oh, what brother.
Killed you?
I don't know how she about to act, bro.
Yeah. How can you do this when mom is still here?
Yeah, it's giving me heartache. But that's the thing, is that we got to see her talking and saying, please take care, Kizuki, for me. Which I already felt like that was obvious that she did that. But Mai just has to let it go. And I think that's going to be the thing that's going to keep her here as long as possible, is getting Mai to understand that, look, I'm sorry that your mom died way sooner than she needed to, but now you have to move on, you know what I mean? And I think that's still like the kid in her, because her mom did die when she was a kid, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that she's going to have to explain, like, the kid in you wants me here, but I can't be here for that anymore. And I think that's where my heart is broken, because how do you explain that to your adult child who still has that kid in them? They got to go to a psychologist, you know what I mean? A psychologist will tell them you got to heal that kid in you, but it's like, you're healing a kid in you from something that you're never going to be able to have, which is a mom. You're never going to be able to have that again, bro. So it's like, I mean, you just gotta let it go, and that's gonna be hard. And that's what's got me like heartbroken about it. I'm like, dang, this is such a crazy show.
The part I hate about it the most for me though is the fact that none of them had that conversation with her. Like right now, she thinks her mother is still there or still going to be there. Why didn't she sit her down and tell her, look, this is the truth? Why didn't Kisuke, why didn't he sit her down and say, hey, this is the reason why I'm working this harder. This is what I learned. This is what I found out. If you stop treating her like a kid, maybe she can get that kid out of her.
And that's exactly what the issue is, that they're still treating her like a kid. Mm-hmm. They're still treating her like they're looking down on her, so to speak. And let's be real, a lot of parents do that in a lot of different ways. This is just their way of doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it does suck because she's never going to be able to grow. She's never going to be able to grow until they let her make it past. She thinks her mom's going to be there to see the wedding. She not. Your mom might not be there tomorrow, for real.
Right. She might be going now as they're having this dinner, which is why this is so, like, it's so hard for me to be mad at her for being mad because nobody said anything to her. We just keeping her in this dark spot, like, oh, mom's gonna always be here now, so I'm gonna get these cups so she, like, it's just.
And one thing, like I said, I ain't mad at her. I'm saying I don't know how she gonna take it.
I know. Yeah,
I don't know how she gonna take it because I'm heartbroken for her. Because, like I said, I can see the kid in her. You know what I mean? You can see the kid in her.
100%.
It's so obvious that as soon as she walk in, she like, yo, who is this woman next to my dad? And why do I black guy knock her out? And
she already saw him on top of her at one point, and when they were at that picnic. So it's just it's all an unfortunate thing of events, but it's all avoidable. It's all avoidable by simple communication. Something I talk about with my mom all the time. Like, if you just understand communication, you will literally have the rules to a happy life. It's so important to just talk to your kids, to your parents, to your others. Like it's just talking. Use your words, and then you'll avoid all of this.
That's a bar. Use your words.
Polo, I'll tell I'm at Polo Bornflow on all social media.
I'm at King Tiliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Blue Sky, and at Mike Check Waifu on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu.